And now the Alumni Award of Merit recipients for the year. Each honoree will receive a citation and will be presented with an honorary rosette, which they can wear proudly always, having been inducted into this prestigious group of Penn alumni. First, John Clark and Jim Reapy, please come to the podium.
Well, it's a great treat for me to introduce John Clark tonight. I won't review his Penn and his non-Penn accomplishments, but I would urge you to read them in the program. I would also urge you not to read them while John and I are speaking. John is a truly great Penn citizen, and he has been so from the day he stepped on this campus. I have known him for over 50 years. That's a hard thing to say. He's been a star athlete, a campus leader, a Marine, a successful businessman and financier, active alumnus, and very active Penn trustee, as Dr. Gutman referred to. And his partner in nearly all his Penn involvement has been Judy, his Penn classmate and wife. I want to briefly focus on just three of John's accomplishments during his long Penn history to try and give you some insight into why I think that John may be the poster child for the Alumni Award of Merit. During his several decades working in London, he rejuvenated and grew the London Alumni Organization, attracting future Penn leaders by engaging them in the academic and social relationships that Penn can offer its alums. At the same time, he used that platform to get the university's attention about the need to serve our international alumni better. He was an early and a very strong voice on that issue, and he moved the needle, which is no small accomplishment in a place like Penn. When John was elected to the trustee board in 1996, he began to use that platform to make the case for giving more resources to alumni relations. His argument was rational, it was pragmatic, it was right on point, and as always with John, delivered forcefully. John was the point of the spear on this issue, and he was relentless in pushing for increased alumni support, knowing that it would prove beneficial to the university in the long run. His instincts were, of course, right, and as examples, I would only point to the record number of attendees we now get at Alumni Weekend, the strength of our alumni clubs throughout the U.S. and abroad, and finally, the $4.3 billion that this university just raised in its capital campaign. And lastly, on somewhat of a personal note, while I was chair of the trustee board, John was my very close partner. I'm not exactly out on a limb when I say that universities have not been historically known for their financial acuity. They know how to raise and spend money, but are not typically great when it comes to financial management. I asked John to chair the Trustee Budget and Finance Committee. This is one of the most important trustee committees that we have, and it was especially important at the beginning of the last decade when we had some very serious strains on both our income statement and our balance sheet. I wish I had the time to tell you what John brought to the table during his 8 years serving as chair of that committee. Suffice to say, with his fellow trustees and superb partners in the administration, he played a leadership role in moving this institution to the point where Penn is looked at today as one of the very best managed universities in the country. So I hope this gives you just a little taste as to why John is being honored here tonight. His contributions to Penn have been long, and they have been impactful. We can ask nothing more from any of our alumni. I'm honored to introduce my friend and my colleague, John Clark.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Awards Committee. In 2 minutes, it's a little bit hard to mention all the people I've worked with for 25 years at Penn, so I will just say it's been a singular honor to be associated with all the outstanding trustees, overseers, alumni, and members of the different administrations at Penn. I would like, however, to specifically thank a few people. Al Shoemaker, who got me involved at Penn. Jim Reapy, who recognized I had a very high tolerance for pain and took advantage of it. Paul Kelly, who watched my back the head of trustee audit. Craig Carnaroli, who is simply the best executive vice president of any university in the United States. And Steve Bilski and the Athletic Board of Overseers, who transformed Penn athletics and recreation and raising $125 million in our first athletics campaign, and will go down in Penn history for doing so. Now, the Clarks are a Penn family, except for our son, who was so successful he didn't need to go to Penn. My wife and daughter think the day they graduated from Penn is still the saddest day of their lives. They both feel I am a trade school graduate, since I only have 2 degrees from Wharton, while they have degrees from the college. I give back to Penn because Penn gave me the academic, teamwork, and leadership education that prepared me for life. And most importantly, my senior year, it let me meet a tall redhead from Kappa Alpha Theta. Of course, in the 1960s, there were 10 men for every woman, and she would not date me at Penn. But fate sent us separately to Washington, D.C. after graduation. She as a Russian analyst for NSA, me as a Marine Corps officer at Quantico. So you know who is the more intelligent in this story. Now, my Marine Corps uniform helped me make the sale in Washington, and 48 years later, I accept this award, giving equal credit to Judith Dooley Clark, College of Women, 1963. Thank you very much.